Backed by popular demand, backed by people's choice, is a radio show that left a deep impact on a community. A radio show that a community stood behind. A radio show a community believes in and trusts. A radio show that enters your hearts and homes. A radio show you love. MN.B.R.T. Radio is back on the air. Join Elusive One and the Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team radio show as they invite guests on to help bring truth and shed light on Bigfoot and Bigfoot research. This is a radio show that's by the common Bigfoot researcher, for the common Bigfoot researcher, about the common Bigfoot researchers, with in-depth questions and answers, new witnesses and their sightings and encounters, asking questions that you want the answers to. The time has come for MNBRT Radio. And now, here's Elusive One.
All right. We are live. Today is Monday, June 26, 2017. Welcome everybody to MNBRT Radio. We sure do appreciate you guys coming in live and checking out and hanging out with us, giving you your Bigfoot news and updates and what's going on and how busy we've been. And it's been busy. Let me tell you about that. Before we get things going in the right direction, I'm going to bring on my co-host. You guys know my brother from another mother, the mouth of the South, I affectionately call him, the one and only Mr. Henry May. Henry, how you doing, brother?
Oh, doing great. And looking forward to the show tonight. I understand we have a special guest co-host with us, and we got a guest in the first hour. We got two guests in the second hour. I mean, does it get any better?
Wow! And there's the first one, right?
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, tonight, you're totally correct. We got a special guest co-host. We have a guest who just excretes awesomeness for the first hour of the show. And then we have a husband and wife who had a Bigfoot sighting this past Memorial Day weekend. So this show has just been awesome. It's going to be a great show all the way around. You know, I heart Jesus Christ. I heart my kids, my family, our friends. I heart the Bigfoot research and investigations. But you know what else? What also, Henry? I heart radio. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have came to that point in MNBRT radio where we are now on iHeartRadio as well. So big things are coming in the form of Bigfoot Field Research, in the form of MNBRT radio as well. We've been picked up by iHeartRadio. By now this is just it right here. I mean, so After Hours AM tonight is the radio show that picked us up and got us in with iHeartRadio as well. And the host of After Hours AM radio is tonight's special guest host. I'm talking about Joe Sturgis. He has been in the radio business for many years and has hosted such hit shows as ZTALK Live and Airstrike Radio, and now After Hours AM. He has interviewed the biggest names from the world of the paranormal and entertainment and many in between. Joe also has a deep interest of all things paranormal and loves a good horror movie and is now a member of the Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Joe Sturgis, host of After Hours AM and newest member of the Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team. Joe, how are you doing, brother?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. Checks in the mail. I love the intro.
Oh, man, well, you know what? Your credentials are just so big and so long.
Yeah.
Bigfoot stranded hair look like a piece of hay. So,
I've been, I've only been kicking around radio, I don't know, 20-plus years. You know, doing this, doing that. It takes, you know, it's just one of those things.
And you got the niche for it. You got the knack. We're pleased and very privileged to have you join us tonight as our special guest host. So it's an honor to have you on, brother, and thank you for coming on.
Hey, the pleasure is truly all mine, and I mean that, Abe. I really, really do. You and I have become really good friends, and you trusted me enough to take a newbie out in the field with you, which is saying something. And again, deep respect for taking me out, looking for the big hairy one. And man, it was a hell of a time, and I can't wait to get back out there.
Oh, man. It sounds like you've been bit by the big hairy bug.
I have. I really have been bit by the big hairy bug. Now, all listeners are just tuning in, of course. You'd mentioned After Hours AM. After Hours AM is an iHeartRadio show, of course. We're live over there every Wednesday and Thursday night. Wednesdays are, of course, our true crime night, where we are the only show of its kind to feature, get this, Abe, a practicing forensic psychologist working at the infamous San Quentin prison.
Whoa. Get out.
She is our official co-host. That'd be Dr. Clarissa Cole. And, of course, Eric Olson. He's been with me for years. And Thursdays have been our paranormal night, traditionally for about the last 10 years. And we have been doing that and talking to everybody. And, in fact, Bigfoot has always been one of our most favorite topics. People cannot get enough of Bigfoot. You would think it'd be ghosts or demons or this or that. But I'll tell you what, our number one rated shows have always been Bigfoot. So that's saying something, man.
Ain't that just something?
That's saying something.
That's a lot right there.
You know, we're talking about millions of listeners, and they want to hear more about Bigfoot. And more importantly now, the other night when you were on the show, you were breaking records all the way across the board, my friend. And that's no lie. A lot of people tuned in to hear you. To hear what you had to say about Remer, Minnesota, and the home of Bigfoot.
Oh, man. Hey. Nice.
So, you know, big props to you guys and what you guys are doing. And, again, thanks for having me as special co-host, man. So where are we going on this roller coaster? Where would you guys like to go first?
I think right around the corner, I think we should head back up to Remer.
I think so. I think so. I really do. I think that'd be kind of cool. Get back up there. Now, Abe, I have been bit by the bug. And my people are out there that work for After Hours AM. We have a staff of people a crack staff of people that are out there digging up all sorts of different news out there. Get this one, FBI to round up Bigfoot. Have you guys heard this one yet? No. Round Rock Police Chief Alan Banks, I did speak with him this afternoon, has received a special message from the FBI Federal Bureau of Investigation. The hairy man has been seen gallivanting around Round Rock trails. And, of course, that is Round Rock, Colorado. And he is the most wanted fugitive, according to the FBI. Now, according to that city's Parks and Recs, which has been keeping the residents abreast of the recent Bigfoot sightings, Round Rock's top police officers got an email from the FBI stating that he should be added to the 10 most wanted fugitive lists. Now, get this. Do you want to make $500,000, man? I'd love to. Wouldn't you, Abe? The Bureau...
as long as I don't have to...
Well, that is true. As long as you don't have to, we'll get to that next story about making love to Sasquatches. The Bureau FBI is offering a reward, get this, of $500,000 for information leading directly to the arrest of the giant hair-covered guy, according to the Park and Rec Department. Man. It was last seen in Brushy Creek Regional Trail and was making loud and demonic sounds as it was attributed to being a Bigfoot, said onlookers. And this is exactly what the onlooker said. He says, I saw the big hairy man. I saw him running down the trail. And I said, Mom, get the camera because we're going to be millionaires. Well, they were too slow and they only got the foliage moving. But hey, good try, guys. Good try. But the FBI has now added Bigfoot to their infamous 10 Most Wanted.
That's amazing.
It really is, isn't it? It really is. One more, and I did talk to him as well. You had to give this guy a call. Daryl Whitaker from Glenwood Springs, Colorado. Yes, another Colorado sighting. Claims a Sasquatch attacked him and attempted to rape him while he was walking in the woods. The 57-year-old man was walking to his hunting cabin, he says to me directly, on Sunday to see if there had been any damage during the wintertime. All of a sudden, a large gorilla-like creature dropped from the tree in front of him, punched him right in the face. He said, boy, it hurt like hell. While Mr. Whitaker was trying to recover his wits, next thing you know, Bigfoot got a little naughty. Bigfoot tried to tear his clothing off and was howling and barking almost like a guttural in-heat dog, Mr. Whitaker says. He immediately reported this to Glenwood Springs Police Department in the Colorado, and they also contacted Fish and Wildlife, but found no evidence of a horny Bigfoot. Well, the story does go on. Daryl Whitaker is convinced that the creature who attacked him really was in love with him, and he was wondering if it was not to do the Stetson cologne he was wearing that may have turned the Bigfoot on. But he still is afraid, so he will not be going back alone to his cabin anytime soon, and he is currently being interrogated by the FBI to find out more about the assault. So there you go. That in a nutshell.
FBI is on it.
They are all over it. Could you imagine showing up being an FBI agent? Okay, Mr. Whitaker. We understand that you and Bigfoot had a relationship. Is that true? Well, it depends on what you mean relationship. Guys got it on. Well, he tried to get it on. And now, I think we should have queued up some cheesy 1970s porn music during that story. I'm just saying. If I would have had some up and going, I so would have popped that on there. But I will leave you with this. Check out, wow. That's right. Getting freaking naughty with the Bigfoot, man.
Oh, man.
So I just want to give you a little taste of what we do. We do that on After Hours AM. We always have, of course, the first hour is dedicated to nothing but strange and wonderful news like that. So it's a little taste we
Man,
get over there.
I sure do thank you.
Hey, not
That
a problem.
was funny.
Anytime.
I need a good laugh.
Anytime, man. But getting back to the serious stuff, and that is Remer. Now they got a little event going on, don't they, man?
A little event is an understatement. They have a huge event. They got a Gigantopithecus blackie Bigfoot Days event going on. And you know, like I said, our first guest for this first hour, he just is streets awesomeness. I'm talking about Marc Ruyak from Remer, Minnesota. He's also on the Chamber of Commerce as well. I've known Marc. We just met just last year for the first time. We stayed in contact, and he became a good friend as well. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please bring your Bigfoot hands together and give Marc Ruyak of Remer, Minnesota a round of applause. Marc, how are you doing, my friend? Great having you on MN.B.R.T radio. Whoop, 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 whoop.
I'm great, Abe. How you guys doing?
We're doing good.
We're surviving, man.
Sturgis,
hey, I know that guy.
Co-host Henry Day.
Yeah.
That's great. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you great.
Good. I'm up in the deep, dark Bigfoot woods
Oh, are you all by
surrounding Remer, Minnesota.
yourself? Oh, man.
You know what is so
Tell me
cool?
you're not alone.
I'm not alone. I know he's around here because he wants to hear what I'm saying over the radio waves.
He's interested to hear
Of course,
what's going
everybody
on.
does.
You know what is so cool? I'm leaving my house at 6 a.m. on Saturday to go in town to do some work. And as I get out to the end of my road, County Road 52, about 4 miles north of Remer, and there's a red pickup truck parked there. And so I pull over to see if the guy is okay, and he rolls down the window, and I said, "Is everything all right?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm actually looking for Bigfoot." And I said, "You're kidding me." And he said, "No." He said, "I just heard reports that there's tracks in a gravel pit up towards Boy River. Is this the road up that way?" And I said, "Yes, sir, it is." He said, "Great." I said, "Good luck hunting." And that's the kind of stuff you'll see about Remer, Minnesota. There's people all over the place looking for Bigfoot because this is his home.
Right on.
It's a cool place.
I'm glad you're not in the woods alone because you might end up like the guy from Colorado.
I got my steel underwear on.
Well, you know, when the moon hits your eye like a big squatcha pie, that's a little lovin'.
That's a little monkey loving.
So we got a big
Bigfoot
event.
Yes, you do. I was wondering if you can fill us in. Our audience is listening, and they're all ears. They got their bionic ears on, and they want to know all about what's going on. What is Bigfoot Days all about?
You know, we have a huge event here, and it's really all about bringing people together in the home of Bigfoot, and getting people to talk about their experiences, share their stories. It's about teaching new people who have never heard about or seen Bigfoot. It's about just squatching all weekend long, and it's such an amazing event. It starts on Friday, July 7th, so we're only about a week and a half away. And we have a neat little event on Friday evening. We have some live music. We have a Bigfoot meat raffle. And then we have some storytelling at our depot right near the highway. We have a stage set up and speakers, and we tell Squatch stories. We tell about people's experiences with finding tracks or seeing Bigfoot himself, or heck, some people probably even talk about what a great event it was to meet Abe out in the woods looking for Bigfoot.
Yeah, he is the number one celebrity. I'm telling you, I know this from firsthand knowledge.
He walks down through the town, and people run up to shake his hand.
It was weird.
He is like a celebrity.
Yeah, I've hung out with celebrities in the past, but none of that magnitude where people actually left their homes to track him down. You know,
That's
Ian,
right.
it's you.
Exactly right.
You know, so it's was really, really cool. Love Remer, by the way, Mark. This is Joel, by the way. But I love Remer. This was my first time I ever actually went to Remer to hang out a little bit, get a feel for the town. What a great community you have there. It really is.
It is fun, and you know it's a fun, friendly community, and they've just really over the multitude of years really embraced Bigfoot and all there is to Bigfoot. And if you come into town and say you've seen him or heard of him or you want to go looking for him, you know, people will open their doors to you and sit down and tell a story with you, and it's just a really neat atmosphere for people that want to, like I said, learn more about Bigfoot or tell their story or come have another experience with Bigfoot in the woods.
But
so I
talked Colorado.
Yeah,
I talked about Friday. So I'll fill you in on Saturday, because really Saturday is the big day. And we started off Saturday morning with a Bigfoot pancake breakfast that goes from 8 to 11. And then we have our Bigfoot 5K, which is the only race around the whole world where probably at least once during the 5K, you're going to run into maybe not the big man himself, but maybe someone in a Bigfoot costume. So you get to run a little bit of the race with Bigfoot. And it's awesome. And then we have a couple of different things. We have children's games and bouncy houses, and then at noon we have an AT ride for cancer, which is awesome. And I'm sure that there'll be one or two costumed Bigfoots in on that parade. And then in the afternoon, once again, we have storytelling, which the storytelling is just it's probably the highlight. There's two things that are the highlight. One is the storytelling that goes on, and two are the Bigfoot calling contests, which are just an absolute hoot and just a blast. We have the children's Bigfoot calling contest Saturday afternoon, and then the adult Bigfoot calling contest is held Saturday night at the pub in Remer at 10 p.m. And that's a highlight, kind of like the whipped cream on the end of the Bigfoot Days Festival. So, but all during the day, we've got flea markets, we've got a Bigfoot barbecue contest that is judged at 3 p.m., but they'll be selling barbecue food all day. We've got, as I mentioned, the storytelling. We have another Bigfoot meat raffle, and just really a whole bunch of different activities and events and fun all day long. So it's a great time to come up and learn and do, and we just invite everybody up to experience it.
Now, Mark, how did all of this come about? I mean, as far as Remer Minnesota goes, did the founder of Remer himself have an encounter somewhere in the history?
Yeah, there's a rich history around here way back. This is an area where logging was a big part of the initial history of this area. And the founder of the town, William P. Remer, is supposed to have seen tracks and had a sighting himself. And then there were multiple stories of sightings and close encounters of loggers throughout the years. And in fact, they had a couple areas. Well, one of the bays of Big Sand Lake right near Remer was a known bathing area for Bigfoot. They would see him come down to the water's edge, and what they thought was he was cleaning himself or bathing. And then there was feeding and bedding areas out to the east of Remer, and just a rich history of sightings and experiences and stories all the way up to present day, where, you know, if you come around Remer and start to talk to people, Abe, you know for sure, but even anyone who comes to Remer and says, hey, I want to learn more about Bigfoot, you'll find all kinds of recent stories and sightings and tracks and all kinds of things.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, and you're right, Mark. It is all of today. I can totally vouch for that. I've met people in Remer who have had a sighting or encounter just last month, a block away from the Remer Motel by the ambulance building on a dirt road while she was on her way to a bonfire with a friend driving in a car. She had a nighttime road crossing of a tan one, and that was awesome. That was just a month ago, and then when I was up there, not this last weekend, but the weekend before, I possibly could have gotten blasted with infrasound, and during my panic attack, that could have been infrasound. The couple who's going to be on the second half of MN.B.R.T. radio, second hour, heard two whoops from across the lake. So that is something that's attributed to Bigfoot, and it's believed it's made by Bigfoot. So yes, there is activity going on in the Remer area, and I will vouch for that, and I will stand my ground 100 and 110%. There is stuff happening in Remer. As far as Minnesota, it seems like it's popping right now. Because not only down there, but even 10 minutes away from Remer, there's a guy who's having rocks being thrown at his camper. That was happening on Saturday while I was in Remer with my girlfriend. So I just caught wind of that this morning. So there's activity in Remer and all the way around Remer. It's hot. It's a hot spot right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to go check out Bigfoot Days. That's July 7th and 8th in Remer, Minnesota. So you talked about a pancake breakfast, Mark. Where is that taking place at?
The pancake breakfast is right at the depot, which is the old train depot, which is right by the highway. It's kind of at the junction of the Sioux Line Trail, which is the ATV snowmobile trail, and the Highway 206, right in Remer.
Okay.
And that's the same place that the 5K race takes off from, and that's right near where the Bigfoot barbecue will be at.
That's actually really,
my
really,
favorite.
That's the thing now. Not just to kind of butt in here for a second. Now the terrain Remer is really hospitable to a Bigfoot. I hadn't really been in those woods before, and I was looking around. A lot of swamps, basically anywhere a black bear can survive and thrive. It would seem to me that a Bigfoot could as well. Your terrain, though, offers a whole lot of hiding areas for a Bigfoot. It's very dense, very, very dense forests.
Well, Joel, you now see. In fact, the first time my nephew came up here, he felt claustrophobic because in the summer it's so thick and so dense up here, and the swamps and the woods. I mean, two people can stand 20 feet apart and not see each other.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing that happened to me and Abe. I was in the truck, and he went into the forest from the truck. I think you're right, Mark. Again, not to butt in, but you're absolutely correct. He was maybe 20, 30 feet away, and I already lost sight of him in the foliage.
Right. And I think, I spend a lot of time in the woods hunting and fishing, and one of the things is, you'll be walking through the woods, and all of a sudden you get a weird feeling, and almost like the hair on the back of your neck stands up, and you feel like somebody's watching you. And I firmly believe that there are times when that happens, that 30 feet away, Bigfoot's standing there watching you walk by, and you don't know it, but he knows it, and he just watches you go by and learns and listens, and we feel that eerie feeling that somebody's watching me or something's watching me.
Yeah. I know that to be true because that's happened here with me in Minnesota. We were in an area where there was a sighting or an encounter, and the guy I was with was nonchalantly video recording, and lo and behold, he picked something on his camera that we did not know was there at that time. And looking at this over and over again, I would have to say it would be the big fella, to be honest with you. So that is the truth. These things are the wood ninjas. They can be there within 20 feet. They can be there within 30 feet or a couple of yards. And you would walk right by them because that's how they are. That's how they hide. That's how they are the world's reigning champion of hide and seek.
They are. Well, come on, Bigfoot. We'll give you a trophy. We'll give you your trophy, Bigfoot. Come on out. You win. We got a trophy for you.
Yeah, a lifetime supply of Jack Link's beef jerky. And speaking of Jack Link's, I mean, Joel, you had some in the tents where your teeth were chattering and your knees were knocking while we were out in the woods.
I did. I did. And I actually did have some Jack Links with me in the tent. Now, I have to understand my position. Number one, the guy that did the whole ad campaign, Greg Bakken, and you did his show, Minnesota Ghost Box, happens to be a good friend of mine. And he's the guy responsible for all those Jack Links commercials. And he assured me that they did some research and it should work. So I was hoping that if one did rip through the tent, I could just throw Jack Links. They'll go, what? And they'll run the other way and get the hell out of there. That's why I was there. That's all.
So the funny thing is, you had Jack Link's beef jerky as a way of hopefully distracting him from you. But then again, here I am inviting you out as bait for him so I can catch it on video.
I really didn't think about that until after I got home. I thought, wait a minute. Was I the minnow on the hook in this situation? I think I was. That explained the bacon perfume he had that he was trying to spray me with. Yeah, I was the bait.
All in all, I mean, we had a great time out there.
Oh, we did.
We did. Mark, there was such a huge turnout for the first annual Bigfoot Days. Did you have any numbers or any figures as far as what last year, how many heads came?
It was great, and I heard estimates. We all tried to guess at, how many people were in town or came and went through town. And I think the people were guessing like 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. I even heard somebody say there had to be 10,000 people through the town that weekend. So it was a lot of people. I mean, we had a ton of people from Friday through Saturday night visit the town and experience the town, and really a lot of people went out exploring out in the woods around the town too. So it was phenomenal, and we're excited because we've gotten so much feedback and gotten word of people coming this year and coming to see the town, and we're just really excited for the weekend because it's just a chance for everyone to share and to bring more people into the hunt, so to speak, and the love of Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the truth too. I mean,
hey, Abe, I had a
Bigfoot. Oh, go ahead,
Abe,
brother.
Yeah, Abe, I had a quick question. How far were y'all from Remer when you went out with the Finding Bigfoot for you and Mike Hexum?
We were probably about half hour to 45 minutes northeast.
Okay. Nice.
Yep.
Now, there was, I'll tell you a quick story that just happened about 2 weeks ago. There's, on Big Sand Lake, there's a resort, and the owners had some bear problems, so they put a trail camera out on one of the trails behind the resort, and lo and behold, the owner of the resort gets up Saturday morning, walks down, pulls the trail camera chip, and gets it on his computer and looks, and there's two of his guests out at 2 a.m., two ladies out at 2 a.m. with a flashlight, walking down the trail looking left and right. And so he walked down to the cabin, he said, just to make sure they were still there, and he said, geez, I just wanted to make sure everything was okay. I saw you on this trail camera at 2 a.m. last night. And he said, can I ask what you were doing? And they admitted they were out looking for Bigfoot. And it's just one of those neat experiences that, everybody is coming here to hunt and help us discover and find and learn more. It's just amazing what it's done.
Really cool.
No doubt, and it's a great thing. It's awesome. So we're talking about Bigfoot Discovery Days for those who are just joining. We're talking July 17th and 8th of 2017. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, one of the other things, and we said it a ton last year, and really the thing we wanted to do by coming out and saying we're the home of Bigfoot and starting the Bigfoot Days, which is Abe said are Friday and Saturday, July 7th and 8th, is really about the word stigma. And we want to eliminate the stigma that's associated when someone says, I think I saw Bigfoot, or I think I heard Bigfoot, or I saw Bigfoot tracks. We don't want there to be a stigma with that. Yeah. We want those stories, and we want to talk about it.
Or fear. That could be very misunderstood creatures as well that people would be truly afraid of. And that's the last thing you want is some guys out there with guns figuring they're going to take one down. And I know a bunch of yahoos that do that already. And we don't need any more out there with guns.
No. You're exactly right.
And so I'd really rather, I'd really rather study the creature and get to know him because, quite honestly, chances are he's been there a lot longer than we have.
No doubt.
You're exactly right.
And that's the thing about us here at the Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team. We are a no-kill organization. We are our no-kill team. We're all about conservation, preservation, and protection. And that's where we're right alongside with you, Mark, as far as we want to hear about those people who have had a sighting, who have found the footprints, because there could be biological evidence that we could collect in scientific manners and get them sent off for analysis and studies. And it takes that type of scrutinizing and methods to bring what we want to bring for the creature is protection and of their natural habitat as well. And there's a lot of logging going on, which it is what it is, but it's also cutting down their homes. And
reduction of habitat. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a sad thing, but it is what it is. But if we could get certain laws passed where we could say, hey, you know what? Let's put this part aside for the big fella or the big mama over there, and get some. Just let this be this part of the woods for them to thrive when they're there. But you know what? We're talking about a creature that's been, like Joel said, a lot longer than a lot of us have been. They have no borders. There's no lines that they cannot cross. They're a free roaming creature. They're like all creatures are. There's no constriction to where they go. And I think what really needs to be put into legislation is that they are strictly on the endangered species list. It needs to go that far, and severe penalties and things of that nature will happen if one is shot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It would just, I think, be just an absolute travesty if someone ever were to shoot one. I study them, do whatever, take pictures, get footprints, follow them to see where they go, but for God's sake, please don't kill one. That just would absolutely be a sad event.
Here's the problem, guys.
I agree.
Here's the problem: is we as a species of human, we are really damn good at eradicating other species. We're so damn good at it, we have to have hunting seasons to stop us from being that good at it. So now, if there is free and open reign on killing Bigfoot, let's just say, for argument's sake, someone happens to get a Bigfoot. And let's just say, in this scenario, they hit it with a car. Okay, unfortunately, the Bigfoot got hit by a car, but now it proved he's in the woods. How many yahoos would be out there wanting their own rug? Okay, this is where he is. He got hit, and they're out there. And that's exactly what I'm with you guys and Abe and everyone else, that there needs to be some type of legislation in place just as a precaution to stop that exact scenario from happening. There's no reason to eradicate the species to prove its existence.
No.
Mark, you're the lucky one. You live right in Remer. You get to go walk out in your own backyard, basically. I know there's been a sighting down from your road. I know there's been a sighting on the other side of your road and across the street from your road. How often, I mean, have you ever thought about going out there yourself just to see what you have found? And if so, how did that go for you?
You know, I spend so much time in the woods, and I honestly have heard knocks. I've heard sounds that, you know, I've spent 30, 35 years in the woods, and I have heard about all there is to hear, and so I know animal sounds, and I've heard many sounds that absolutely have got to, in my mind, be Bigfoot. I've heard tree knocks, lots and lots of tree knocks. So have I seen one? No. Do I know in my heart that I've been in close proximity to them? Absolutely. Do I know I've heard them? Absolutely. It's almost to a personal level, you know, that in your heart, you know what you heard and you saw, and it doesn't matter what other people think. So yeah, it's fun for us and for our family, knowing that we live in the heart of Bigfoot country. I mean, this is where it's at. And if people want to have one of those experiences that we have up here all the time, you got to come here. I mean, if you want to hear a tree knock, there's no better place on earth than to come here in one of our deep, dark swamps at midnight, 2 a.m, and knock on a tree and see what you hear back. Because I bet I can almost assure you're going to hear a knock come back to you.
Oh, somebody's saying, come on in.
Yep.
Or
You
maybe
know.
make sure you use your squatch stick. By the way, I have not purchased one yet, but I do plan on getting one of those.
My luck, guys, a knock on the tree and it inadvertently mimicked the Bigfoot mating call.
Ooh.
And for that, you can stop by the gas station in Remer and get your Squatch scratcher.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. You just fixed up a gas station, and it's called Bigfoot Gas and Gifts. Can you tell us a little bit more about your new project?
Yeah, that's the hub of activity. You come into Bigfoot Gas and Gifts, and you can get anything, any paraphernalia for the home of Bigfoot. And we even, as of today, we had the big silhouette of Bigfoot that had no face, so you could stick your face through and get a picture. Well, as of today, we have a young, a juvenile Bigfoot silhouette there too. So 2 people can stick their face through and get their picture as a Bigfoot.
Wow. Oh, sweet. So there's a spot for me and Joel.
That's right. That's right. Look at that.
The big thing will be who's the most juvenile.
Well, that'd probably be, okay. I don't know.
That'd be me.
Well, I also, speaking of the Bigfoot gifts and gas and gifts, I also got the official Bigfoot Research Kit. I picked one of those bad boys up, man. That is so cool. And so if you are there, get your own research kit. I mean, if anything else, put on the desk. It's just kind of cool to have and look at. Very, very cool stuff. Like you had great gifts over there.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and there are neat things like that to take home and just to say, hey, I was here. And the nice thing about taking something home like that is wherever you are from and wherever you go to, you never know when someone sees that T-shirt or hat or coffee mug and walks up to you and says, I saw Bigfoot. And that's, once again, it's breaking that stigma and making that connection and having someone not be afraid to tell their story to someone else. And so it opens doors, and really, like I said, that's what it's all about for us.
And you're totally right. It is a segue to, great conversation and possibly a great friendship such as you and I have created over the year.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, very
awesome.
true.
Exactly right.
I wear Bigfoot T-shirts all the time around here. I've only had maybe one or two people kind of come up to me and say, and tell me something like they know somebody that saw something, or they know somebody that heard something, or something. So definitely those things, like T-shirts, hats, and whatever, they're great for starting a conversation. They really are.
Yeah, it's icebreaker.
Last year during our event, our Bigfoot Days event last year, it's funny. There was a person that I had known for over 30 years that halfway through the weekend, they opened up and told me a story of when they were 13 years old and had a Bigfoot walk by the front picture window of their cabin. And they never told anyone before. And you could tell they got goosebumps, and you could tell by the passion in their eyes and their shaky voice that it was real. And they weren't making up a story. They were telling something that really happened that they had held to themselves for years. And it was neat. It was really a neat experience.
Man, and that's just the thing of it. A lot of people get so shooken by it, or if it's not just being so shooken by it, they just want to put it on the back burner of their mind, suppress the memory. It's because of a fear of being ridiculed, and that's where I'm totally with you, Mark, is getting rid of that stigma where people can come out freely and talk about it and be welcomed and yes, consoled and related with.
Doing a national radio show, like after hours, we get a lot of emails, and usually the first thing they say is, "Don't think I'm crazy, but I saw." And they're so relieved when I say, "I don't think you're crazy at all. In fact, I believe you."
You're right.
And here's a guy you can contact, Abe, if you want to report that or talk to somebody that knows way more than I do. And a lot of times it's that whole, oh, man, I'm not the only one. Whoa, thank God. Thank God.
That's exactly right.
That relief comes over them. Like, I thought I was going wacko.
And it happens left and right. So it's that stigma which I'm totally for getting rid of. So, Mark, since you, Mr. Celebrity, has been on Animal Planet's hit show, Finding Bigfoot, how has life changed for you, brother?
It's funny. I get all kinds of phone calls and questions, and, people I had a guy stop in the other day wanting to know where to go look and what areas to go to, and it's just been a fantastic year because it's fun to help people discover and learn and journey and get excited, and I love hearing the stories. I loved the other week hearing the stories of you and Joel going out at night and what you heard and what you saw. I mean, I just love that all the time when I get to hear those things. So it's been a fantastic and, like you said, a fun year. And the great thing is I know it's just going to continue on and get bigger and better. And, someday I will definitely get to see the big guy. And I'm sure he somehow knows and senses what's going on. And I just hope someday I get to catch a glimpse of him somewhere.
Well, that makes two of us, and so I think what we should do is head out to the woods sometime, and we'll spend some time out there, you and I, and I'll let you carry the Sasquatch pheromone chips and the peanut butter and bacon grease. And I'll walk a good distance behind you because I don't want him to think that this is a trap in any way, shape, or form. But we'll put a GoPro on you, brother, and we'll just sing Kumbaya.
We'll pack you some jacklings, and you'll be good. And of course, we'll have a GPS tracker on you, so we can recover you later. But
sure,
if anything,
you can find the carcass.
We would love to get you. Maybe we'll happen upon their nest or their den at that point. And, we can hang out and they can tell us what it was like to have you for dinner and all that kind of good. I mean, have you around for dinner, not have you for dinner. But then again, you just never know.
But seriously, though, Mark, I think it'd be a great time, hanging out with you and some of the other fellows from Remer. And just make it like, us, you and your family as well. And, letting you guys come out or being able to go out with you guys in your own backyard or around the great town of Remer and seeing what, just a couple of friends like ourselves can go out and find ourselves and see, just have a great time of fellowship as well.
Yep, absolutely.
I had another question from Mark. Mark. Are you familiar with it was back in the mid-'90s, the town of Crookston, Minnesota, was trying to do something involving Bigfoot, and I guess it must have fallen through or something. And they had a life-size Bigfoot, you'd call it a statue. It was made out of, I think they used some kind of, yak hair or something for it on the outside. And it's now in the possession of Lauren Coleman, and it's in his International Cryptozoology Museum. Do you know anything about Crookston and the fact that they were trying to do something with Bigfoot?
No, nope. And in fact, didn't know about that, and actually, I haven't even heard of any Bigfoot-related stories up in that part of the state.
Yeah, and you're right, Henry. It was back in the 90s where Crookston, Minnesota was trying to declare itself Bigfoot capital of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that. Now, because I remember reporting that back when I was working for a small AM station. And I was actually reported that live on air that Crookston, Minnesota claims to be the world home of Bigfoot. In fact, their words, not mine. So many, you almost trip over them.
Man. But you know what? I think we all know. Oh, go ahead. No, I was just going to say, I think we all know that the real home of Bigfoot is in Remer, Minnesota.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I did go to Crookston, long story short, and I did not see any Bigfoot. But then again, I didn't get out of the truck. I just made an appearance because I had to for work. Like, all right, see you. See you guys. But, yeah. Go ahead, sirs.
So one of the other things we did is, as a part of all this data gathering and stories and research and everything, is we applied for and got a trademark for the home of Bigfoot. So we are trademarked as the official home of Bigfoot. So that's something that we felt strongly enough about and felt like, you know what, this is us, this is who we are, we've got the evidence to back it up. And I think, the whole Animal Planet crew came here and they were skeptical at the start of the week. You can watch the episode and see that. And Abe, I think you knew it when they showed up. They were skeptical. And they said, we're not just going to give you this. And sure enough, by the end of the week, they said, you know what? I think you guys are the home of Bigfoot. So, it's not just some joke.
And, it was great because I've known Cliff and I've known Bobo for a few years. And, when we first started MNBRT radio back in 2009, Bobo was actually a special guest co-host as well. And I met Cliff, talked with him throughout the years. But, the first time when they were here in Minnesota, down in the Moose Lake area, was actually the first time I got to meet with them as far as Renee and Cliff and stuff like that. So from there on, we see each other at Bigfoot conferences and stuff like that, talk on the phone from time to time. And when they were here and they wanted us to film with them, I said yes right away. Jumped in with both feet, and I'm glad I did so because it was really cool. Because instead of going out with these guys that do TV, to me it was looking at it from this side of this point of view is that, hey, you know what? I'm going out with family members. I'm going to go out and do what we all love to do. So it was just a great time all in all, and we had my second newest team member. His name is Mike, but we affectionately call him Pops because he's the oldest team member. We, like I said, we were about half hour to 45 minutes northeast of Remer, Minnesota, when we filmed that overnight outing, and where we got the wood knots as well. And so it was a great time. They're definitely here in Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes, and I know for a fact that they are in the Remer, Minnesota area as well. Ladies and gentlemen, do yourselves a favor. Mark it down on your calendar. This coming July 7th and 8th, Remer, Minnesota. We're talking about Bigfoot Days. If you're just joining us, we have Marc Ruyak from Remer, Minnesota, also on the Chamber of Commerce, and a great good friend of mine as well, who's been giving us the whole download of the ifs, ands, and wheres of what festivities are going on, what's taking place, when, where you want to be, and what kind of Bigfoot sounds you need to brush up on for the Bigfoot howling contest. Mark, is there anything you'd like to say before we hop into our break and start the second hour of the show?
You know, I just want to say thanks for all you guys do to help spread the word about Bigfoot and to help reduce the fear and the stigma of Bigfoot, and to help more people learn about what's out there, and to go explore, and to go out and look and take an exploration walk in the middle of the night and listen and learn, because it is great and it is interesting, and let yourself decide. Walk out in the woods for a couple hours with Abe or Joel or one of the other hunters, or by yourself, and make a few knocks, and don't let somebody else tell you something. Check it out for yourself and see what you think. And if you want to learn a whole lot more and be amongst a friendly company, come up to Remer, Minnesota, way up north, July 7th and 8th. And if you can't make it that weekend, come some other weekend and look and learn and explore around the area. You will absolutely love it. And I guarantee you'll go away from here having a better appreciation for Bigfoot than you did when you came here.
Mm-hmm. Nicely said, my friend. Mark, thank you so much for coming on, brother. We'll stay in contact.
Thanks, Abe. Thanks, Joel.
Hey, not a problem. Anytime. Hey, not on my show.
Soon.
No, great talking to you, Mark. Loved having you on the After Hours. Hope to have you on again real soon, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is
Anytime,
great, guys.
sir.
Yeah. I was just going to say real quick, I know we're on iHeartRadio. I just want to say hello to our audience there on iHeartRadio. Thanks for tuning in to MNBRT Radio. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, a Bigfoot show is so cool, the Loch Ness Monster believes in Bigfoot.
All right, Mark, thank you again, brother. You have yourself a great evening.
All right, sir. You guys have a good evening.
God bless. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the first hour of MNBRT Radio with Marc Ruyak of Remer, Minnesota. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a small... Oh, man, and it went by so fast, Henry.
Yeah.
Cruised right along, guys.
Definitely. So what we're going to do now, you guys, we're just going to hop into our break. We're going to take about a 10-minute break. Now would be the time to step out and have that cigarette, use the restroom, or refresh your beverage, or if you have it in, you do some yoga. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Our next guest for the second hour is already on the line. With that being said, we'll be right back with more of MNBRT Radio.
This is Bob Gimlin.
And Cliff Barrickman.
And Tom Yemmerow.
John Kirk.
Winona Alexis.
And Jeffrey R. Thomas.
We'll be right back with more MNBRT Radio.
Squatch on.
All right, this is the Ballad of Alberto. Well, we've all been out camping. It's a fun place to go. Some go in groups, some go alone. Go to the mountains, some even camp in the snow. But no one's had a camping trip like old Alberto. Well, he took a vacation to do some prospecting for gold. Rode the boat to Toba Inlet, was a good place he was told. His Indian guide warned him about the Sasquatch, but Albert ignored him, saying, "You drank too much scotch." Well, he hiked into the woods. For 3 days all was fine. The day 4 came along, and things began to unwind. His backpack was ransacked, he lost his flour and prunes. He would wait up for this critter by the light of the moon. Well, he waited and waited, but his eyelids they closed. He was snatched up in his sleeping bag, but still Albert dozed. He woke up in a bundle, couldn't grab for his knife. Albert Osmond was in for the ride of his life. Albert, oh Albert, what did you see? Them Sasquatch made you one of the family. Albert, oh Albert, what do you say? You're not only thought Sasquatch, you got carried away. Well, he was carried up and over 3 ridges, it seemed. If he wasn't in such pain, he would have thought it was a dream. He got dumped in a heap, and he rolled to a stop. When he opened his eyes, well, his jaw had just dropped. There standing before him was a family of 4. And oh, my dear friends, it wasn't the family next door. It was 4 hairy giants, and they gave off a smell. Albert Osmond had been carried to where the Sasquatch did dwell. Well, he was trapped in a small valley, made the best of his stay. He watched the dad sit around while the kids they did play. They had a bed of moss and leaves, he had his knapsack and boots. He dined on cold hash, and they dined on sweet roots. They were very much like a step figure and covered in hair, where their feet and fingernails did rightly compare. But sworn they were wild men, they didn't use language or tools. Now these were the Sasquatch, they didn't fit any rules. Albert, oh Albert, what did you see? Them Sasquatch made you one of the family. Albert, oh Albert, what do you say? You're not only saw Sasquatch, he got carried away. Well, this went on for 6 days, and Albert said that's enough. He would make the big one sick by feeding him snuff. Well, he rolled in the can, and Daddy B ate it all. Albert grabbed up his things and ran for the hole in the wall. Well, he shot at the mama who tried to halt his escape, and ran as fast as he could to get free from these apes. And after 2 days he found some loggers. They said, "What happened to you?" Well, they thought about telling him. They never believed it was true. So Albert went home. 'Twas 1924, and kept his tale to himself for 30 years or more. And then he talked to John Green about his week there in hell. He made him swear for the judge it was the truth he did tell. Well, he went looking for some gold to enrich his life, but he almost ended up with a hairy Bigfoot wife. So if you go out camping, don't go where he did go, or you might just end up like old Albert O. Albert O, Albert, what did you see? Them Sasquatch made you one of the family. Albert O, Albert, what did you say? You're not only lost Sasquatch, you got carried away. Albert O, Albert, what did you see? Them Sasquatch made you one of the family. Albert O, Albert, what do you say? You're not only lost Sasquatch, you got carried away.
This is Bob Gimlin from Yakima, Washington. We will be right back with MNBRT MN.B.R.T. Radio.
You all know the story. I've told it for so long, but this will be a first for me to tell it in a song about the time a friend and I rode in to history when the cowboys met the lady. That was Patty, Roger, and me. Back in '67, if you were like most folks, and someone mentioned Bigfoot, well, you just laugh at such a hoax. Not so with us, 'cause we were bound by faith to go and see a date with no one else around, just Patty, Roger, and me. So we rode into Bluff Creek to see what we could find. Roger needed background scenes for a film he had in mind. Suddenly the horses shied. We fought to keep control. There before our eyes she walked, real, so big, so bold. The camera rolled, the film ran out as Patty walked away to leave us shocked. Without a doubt, our lives forever changed. Roger packed his camera while I put away my gun. Both of us relieved that we had only needed one. As for me, through all the years, time was kind, you see. It left the memory crystal clear of Patty, Roger, and me. Whether you believe or not, the choice is yours alone. Roger's film still looks the same every time it's shown. Someday soon they'll have the proof for all the world to see. Then they'll know we told the truth about Patty, Roger, and me.
And you are listening to MNBRT Radio live on iHeartRadio. We are having a great time. We hope you guys are. We'd like to say thank you to iHeartRadio. We'd like to say thank you to all of our loyal listeners throughout the years since 2009. Without you guys, we would not be where we are right now. And, of course, above all, we want to say thank you, God, for your grace and your blessings of letting us do what we do and what we love so much. I'm going to bring on my co-host, Mr. Henry May, and I'm sure he has a few words to say. Henry, are you there, brother?
I am here, and of course, I love the tunes during the break. Some Yams and some Lenny Green. Yes, sir. That's good stuff.
Oh,
and
all the way
Yams,
around.
Yams, of course, is organizing a great event. Promises to be a great event this October 19th through 21st, 50th anniversary celebration of the Patterson-Gimlin film. Lenny Green, I understand, is going to be there, by the way. Of course, there'll be a lot of other special guests: Cliff Barackman, Jeff Meldrum, Kathy Strange, John Reinzinski, possibly Bill Munns. We're hoping Bill Munns, Lauren Coleman, Bobo, Paul Graves, Lenny Green, of course, the one and only Bob Gimlin. And it's going to be a tremendous event in Willow Creek and Eureka, California. So
that's what we do when we get excited. We don't clap, we whoop.
Yeah. Yep. I mean,
all right. Sounds like a great time, a good event all the way around. No doubt about that.
Yes, it will be. I will be there. I will certainly, make it there. So,
awesome. So without any more hesitation, we are going to bring on tonight's special guest co-host. A lot of you know him. I know him as a fellow team member here of the Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team, and I'm kind of calling. I'm thinking of a nickname for him. I don't know if we got Pops. I'm known as Elusive One. We got Tick. We got Tracks. Should we call him Rookie? Should we call him Greenhorn? But a lot of you guys know him as Joel Sturgis, host of After Hours AM radio show. Joel, are you still hanging out with us?
Oh, hell
brother?
Yeah, man. You couldn't, a squatch could not tear me away from this. And, of course, you can call me whatever you want except late for dinner. All right? But, I did crash my truck, so I'm just saying, remember? So, crash might be the best one.
Oh, love it. Oh, man. Well, you guys, you know what? We got a couple great guests here for the second hour. And, this next couple, I've known, just for a short time. And we clicked. They're my kind of people. They helped me out in a sticky situation where I could have been blasted by infrasound, and I say could have been because I can't really say for sure that it was infrasound, but I had all of the symptoms of infrasound. And what infrasound is, for those who don't know, it's it's a sound wave, a sound frequency that's below the human hearing range that gives you the symptoms of having a panic attack or a heart attack. And this couple really helped me out while we were out in the woods of Remer, Minnesota. That's right, Remer, Minnesota. Not this past weekend, but the weekend prior. But word got out that this next couple had a sighting on Memorial Day weekend on one of the many lakes here in Minnesota. I'm talking about Leech Lake. And what I like to do is bring on this next couple, whose name is Justin and Alice Wiese. Justin, Alice, are you folks with us hanging out here? I see your number. Are you guys live with us?
Hey, Abe, how you doing?
How's it going? Hey, guys, how are you guys doing up there?
We're doing fantastic, and believe it or not, actually just moved to Remer, Minnesota today. We are spending our first night in our new house here, right along the Willow River.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Oh. Well, congratulations on the move. I know you guys have been excited about it, and once you guys told me the location where the house is at, I know there's a river that goes behind your guys' house that has some Bigfoot activity, but we'll keep that on the download and your location undisclosed. But all the people just need to know is Remer, and you guys are in a hot spot right now. I tell you what, along this river that's behind your guys' house, down the ways from you, there's a couple people I've met through going and doing research up in the town of Remer, and this one guy swears that he's heard the knocks, he's heard vocalizations, the strange sounds, just on the other side of on the other side of the property, where this river divides to his property as well. So you guys are like at ground zero for Remer as far as I'm concerned right now. But prior to moving to Remer and everything like that, and prior to your sighting, everybody's heard about Bigfoot. Everybody's heard, the legends, the folklores, and a lot of people thought it was just a myth. And please correct me if I'm wrong. You guys also fell in that category at one time as well. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. I won't deny it. I was one of the many skeptics that were out there, and so we saw something, and we just can't explain what we saw. So,
well, what did you guys?
I was wondering.
I was just gonna say, Abe, man, I'm so excited because you kind of told me their sighting, and that really got me stoked when we were out there in Remer when I was with you. Now, I want to hear from these guys, man. What was that sighting like? I couldn't imagine that. And you guys are skeptics, now believers. What did you guys see?
Absolutely.
Well, actually, if I may, let me ask you this, Alice. And sorry for butting in there, Joe.
No problem.
How was life for you guys? What was life like prior to having your sighting for you guys?
We were. I'd say that we were fairly ignorant on the subject. We never really acknowledged the fact that he did or didn't exist, or he, she, it. And then prior to that, we just kind of played along, and we were always entertained. Always entertained watching, Finding Bigfoot and things like that. But nonetheless, that's what we thought it as, was just pure entertainment. Until that day out on the water, we're just we're fishing and hunting guides in the area, and we're just trolling for walleyes jigging for walleyes like we normally do. And we looked up, as you know, one of the things that we guide for is bears. Justin's actually the one that noticed it. We're well more than 500 yards away from shore, and Justin said, "Hey, hon, look, a bear." And we look over, and that's when we noticed kind of something crouched down by the water, and we got pretty excited, and all of a sudden then we seen this thing stand up and start walking, and we know well enough it wasn't no bear. So,
you said something very important right there to a field researcher such as myself. You said walking. Now, you being a bear guide and bringing people out into the woods to hunt bear, you guys know your bears, and even at 500 yards in great distances and up close. You said it yourself, bears can walk a short distance, and very few and rare occasions, long distances.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was, naturally, us being the way we are, we tried ruling out everything that they're, obviously we initially thought it was a bear just because of color, just because of size. And then when this thing, walked, I guess you could say, it was, we, like you said, we've seen bear walk on 2 feet, stand on 2 feet. The way, and for lack of better terms, the way that this thing moved itself along the beach side as gracefully as it was just, was incredible. And that's kind of, we went back to the thought of a person, and Abe, that's why I was happy to have you come up, because, with you up there, we were actually able to take some comparison photos, and it wasn't a person either. So I really don't know. Things are still kind of crazy. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. And forgive me for your noises in the background. We're trying to unpack our kitchen.
Oh, no, not a problem. Not a problem. So you said walk. When you mean walk, you mean on 2 legs, correct?
That's correct. This thing we saw from a crouched position initially. We saw it stand up and walk on 2 legs across the beach. And with that being said, even from that distance, we saw the, pretty wide gait, the swing of the arms, the wide steps. Mm-hmm. And so and it was kind of bizarre the way it acted. It was kind of moving up and down the beach. It looked as though it was picking things up, and it it walked up behind the weeds behind it a few times and walked back down to the beach prior to just eventually turning around and walking back into the brush behind it, which, as I found out later, led to a clearing, but it's fairly swamp, a lot of bog grass.
Yes, you know, and you know, to a field researcher such as myself, another red flag just went off. But it's a good thing. You said the swing of the arms. Now, from your experience and from what I know, is that bears, when they walk, they kind of keep their front paws or arms up in helping them balance. How was this arm movement, would you say, swinging like? How would you compare that to the arm swinging like?
I compare it to us when we walk. You know, usually your opposite arm is out in front of your opposite foot. You know, you're swinging your arms as you're moving, and you know, much the same. That helps us with our balance too. But and the just the sheer body mass of this thing, where it was incredibly wider at top, very broad in the shoulders, and when it's swinging, you could see the arms outstretched in front of it, which then led me to think again that it could have been a person, but. Yeah.
Well, I got a quick question, Abe, for him. I got a quick question. Yeah, this is Joel Sturgis, of course. Nice to meet you, by the way. Actually, I'm not too far from you guys. I'm over here in the Evelyn, Virginia area. So, you know, we're all northern Minnesota family here. And my question for you, did it seem that it was comfortable on 2 feet? Because I'm also a bear hunter, and I would say that watching a bear on 2 feet is a lot like watching a newborn trying to walk. They're not real stable. It's very labored. Now, did this creature seem very fleet of foot?
Yeah, and like I said, that's what immediately ruled out bear for us. You know, and I love the example that you use, because that's the same one that I use all the time. When a bear walks on 2 feet, it more or less acts like a toddler that's first learning how to walk, and you know, kind of bouncy and short in its steps, where this one was very elongated in its gait. You know, and this, like I say, it just moved way too gracefully to be a bear. Very casually, very comfortably, no certain speed, just walking along really steady, occasionally picking things up. And that's another thing that ruled out bear, you know, for something that you can watch, you know, bend down at the hips, pick something up from shore, stand back up, you know, and just continue walking, you know, where bears, you know, they're you know, tend to be on 4 legs. And when they do walk on 2 feet, it's not as, trying to find the right word, but it's not as smooth, I should say.
Yeah, the gait was nowhere near as fluid as if it would have been a human being, or a bear would not be as fluid as this was. You know, so it was more like you and I walking, where we actually had a cadence to our gait, where it was very fluid and very methodically stepping.
Yes. And that's what really, you know, that's when I really got shocked. Just watching this thing move. Honestly, me and Justin, we couldn't find 2 words between the 2 of us. You know,
other than holy crap, right? Did you at least say holy crap to each other?
My language, but what the hell are we looking at?
Exactly.
So,
I would have yelled, the power of Jack Links compels you. The power of Jack Links compels you. No, Joe's joking. Sorry.
It was crazy. And, you know, hindsight's 20/20. We got ridiculed, criticized a little bit shortly thereafter. You know, well, why didn't you go up to shore and look for tracks? Why didn't you, you know, stuff like that? Because at that time we still weren't sure what exactly it was that we saw.
Exactly. I know where you're coming from, because the same thing happened to me when I saw a Bigfoot, by the way. Everyone thought I was crazy, or I didn't even want to say anything for the longest time, because I thought for sure they're going to think I was cuckoo.
And that's kind of what happened. You know, when you see something worth capturing, you know, you kind of use what you got. Of course, all we had on us at the time were our cell phones. And So I just tried taking as many pictures as I possibly could. Of course, as it all goes to show, it never shows up. They're blurry, you know. So criticized a lot. I actually told my husband not to post it because I didn't want to, you know, for lack of better terms, I didn't want to look like a jackass. You know, we're running a business, and I knew that there was going to be a few naysayers. We were unsure of ourselves, and I'm actually fortunate. I'm happy that he did, because that's how Abe found out about us, and he was actually willing to come up here and help us process it, what exactly we did see.
I just want to tell you, Alice, it's not your camera's fault. Bigfoot is just naturally blurry.
That's right.
They're not so photogenic.
They're not a big fan of the selfie.
And so, no, not at all, man. And they hate the flash, so that doesn't help. It just increases the red eyes. So, you know, and so I contact them. I send them a message, let them know who I am and what I'm all about. And they agreed to meet with me, you know. And so we meet there on Leech Lake, and we go to the location. And so we couldn't get right up on shore because in that area it's all sandy. We couldn't jeopardize getting the boat stuck in the sand. So we actually had to hop in 2 feet of water and walk to shore. Once upon getting upon shore, the first thing I've noticed was all these shells. We're talking snail shells, mussel shells, and crayfish shells, and blue crayfish shells. And it was literally littered, scattered across the shoreline. Actually, where the water comes up. I shouldn't say all over the shore, but up to where the water line comes, where the water is washing all of these shells up before. And, you know, so I'm walking the shore, and I'm seeing this, and I remember them telling me that they observed the creature bending down, and it looked like it was picking things up from time to time. Well, heck, look, I'm looking down, I'm seeing all these shells, I'm putting two together. I'm like, okay, so things are running through my head. We know from people who have had habituations or who have so-called gifted Bigfoot by leaving different items out there that they collect things and beautiful things and shiny things and things that, you know, bring their curiosity and stuff like that intrigue them. And so I'm walking the shoreline, I'm like, wow, these are some pretty cool shells. Now, for somebody who's into shell collecting, this would be a pretty good spot. So I'm thinking, hey, you know what? This creature that they've seen walking on 2 legs, swinging arms, bending over and picking things up from time to time, I think I can't say for sure, but the possibility and the likelihood and plausibility is very highly that this critter was collecting shells as well. It's not too far-fetched to say that in any way, shape, or form, based on what they observed and what was there that I witnessed once upon getting on shore. Now, you know, Alice and I did get on shore, and her husband, Justin, brought the boat back where they pinpointed it on their boat GPS location. And that's where we took the comparison photos. He actually took the boat and the camera, back to the spot where they were at in the water, and he started taking snapshots of us. And they had side-by-side images. And, you know, one of the things that he noticed is that, wow, this thing was a lot bigger and taller than myself. Mm-hmm. And I'm standing 6 foot tall, and, well, I'm not as wide as I used to be. but
yeah, that's true. That's true.
This is true story.
Yeah.
But, you know, he said that the creature that they seen was probably about a good foot and a half taller than me, putting it around the 7 to 7.5 foot mark range.
That's a monster, man. That's huge.
Well, that's an okay size one. That's an okay size, really. I mean, we're talking juveniles anywhere from 5 to 6.5 feet tall, and usually we speculate that the females are right around that height of 7 to 7.5 feet tall, and the males being bigger, you know, in stature as well. As far as the sex goes, Yeah.
Another thing, Abe, could it have been also, scooping what's inside the shells out and eating it? That's also another possibility it could have been doing as well.
It very well could have been. I mean, I guess we would have to ask them if that's what they observed. And now, when you guys observed the creature bending over and picking things up, did you see it bring those things that it could have picked up to its mouth at all?
From that distance, I really couldn't tell. We just, kind of seen it bend down, and it, stood straight back up, and it kind of just stand there, whether it was just looking at it, admiring it, or whether it was actually, eating it or anything like that. I mean, and that's kind of initially the first thing. I know, Abe, the first time that I talked to you, you were asking, well, what's up on that shore? Is there any, freshwater mussels? And I'm like, well, yeah, it's Leech Lake, and that's kind of what we thought. Well, maybe it's gathering food.
Was it was it ever aware of you guys? Did it ever look up to acknowledge your presence?
No, it did not.
Jeez, what a jerk. Didn't even look up to say hi or anything. Man.
But I mean, we're a boat floating in the middle of the lake, quite a distance from it, but nonetheless, you would think it had to know, and that's kind of why I was being more like, kind of more or less, saying, no, it couldn't have been, because, I mean, and Leech Lake, all in all, is a popular lake in itself. I mean, there's anglers out there, this was Memorial Day weekend. A lot of them have scooted off at this time because there was a storm coming in, actually, and that's right before we seen it. That's where we were actually packing up and heading back in, because lightning was off in the distance, and you don't want to be on the water. And so, I mean, it had to know that we were there, but it never seemed to even acknowledge that we were there or anything.
Alice, I got a question for you. I don't think I've asked you this, but do you know if any other boaters or anglers seen this thing as well?
I would not know on that. Nobody I know that there was some boaters off at the distance. We were fairly close to, we were within distance of, the channel that you take to go back into the access. And we seen boaters out there heading back in our, and, we even had a few boats around us. Did they see it? Nobody really seemed to even pay attention, or that they were looking up that way, or like we were doing, like, what is that, kind of loudly. But so I guess I wouldn't have known. I didn't really track them down to ask either. So.
Man.
Presence of mind, though, to GPS it, man. Presence of mind, you hit the GPS button. That was great.
Well, not just that, but also the thing of taking pictures, too, even at that distance, and, having a cell phone camera picture. But kudos to you. I mean, you had your head on your shoulders. You GPSed it, you busted out your cell phone camera, and you did what you could. And it's cool, because I've got the pictures. I got the reenactment pictures of her and I on the beach that her husband Justin took. And there is definitely a size difference. There is a huge difference in comparison as my size to the creature's size. And it's very, very true. I totally believe them. I have no ifs, ands, or doubts. They have nothing to gain from making this up. And when they tell this story, and I can tell in Alice's voice, is that she's still like, I kind of see what I see. I mean, she's still having. She just said a little while ago that she's having a hard time still wrapping her mind around this.
I most definitely am. All I knew is at the time that we were walking up on the beach, and I'm like, I don't want to be up here. I don't know what's going to come over this ledge.
Yeah, and so it was just really cool, and it was a beautiful day that we got to meet and go out on the water and had a great time. And the water was surprisingly warm. I mean, I didn't have my trunks or anything like that, so I just jumped in with my jeans on. And it was great. Warm water, nice weather, great people. And let me ask you this: so from prior to your sighting, you guys were just an average couple. enjoying the great outdoors, having your touring business, your hunting guide business, your fishing business, bringing people out, loving life as a young couple should, enjoying each other. And then this thing happens to you guys and really gives you a paradigm shift, for lack of a better terms. It flips your world upside down. You guys have no idea what you thought it was a bear, but it turned out this bear stood up and started walking away on 2 feet and 2 legs, and its arms are swinging. And here's a question: How long would you say the arms were? Could you notice at that distance where the hands, how far the hands went down?
If I was to estimate, I'd say that they actually hung right above knee level.
Yeah. I love it. I laugh because I love it. Yeah, you know what? I have. Y'all saw Sasquatch.
I mean, was that when the creature? I just want to ask Alice: was that when the creature was standing or when it was crouching? Just out of curiosity.
Well, when it was walking, just judging by the, where you could, kind of tell where the bend in the knee was and how far the arm would come out. Okay. And when it was kind of standing, it may have been carrying something because it always kind of kept that one arm up. So, and that's kind of what we wonder about it picking stuff up too. So.
That's cool.
I just had a thought. So both arms weren't constantly swinging in an even flow manner. One was kind of more tucked towards the chest, would you say?
Initially, we did see both swinging when it was crouched down by the water when it got up and started walking. But after it started, kind of bending over, and I was at that point just assuming it was picking things up. I physically couldn't see it, but then after that, like when it walked in to the brush behind it, you could only see one arm after that.
Okay, sure. Well, that would make sense to turn to disappear back into the woods. Or the swampland that's right behind there. And, for those who want to see this, I highly encourage you to check out Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team TV Facebook page, where I went out there and I recorded them. We did a recording of this. We did a recording of the shoreline. We did a recording of what's beyond the shoreline, where this thing came out, where it went back in, where Justin was, and how he looked to us from the shoreline with this camera that I got. And it's very cool. It might help, it's just a good watch all the way around. And I thank you guys so much and profusely, not just for, letting me come out with them and doing and investigating this area. I only wish I had waders or my hiking boots on, which I think I could have had. But walking in the water, I didn't want to get them wet. But I guess they could have dried out anyway. I'd really like to kind of get back on that side of Leech Lake and, go back into that wild area and just to see what is it back there in the woods? Are there formations back there? Or are there, will we hear knocking? Will we hear vocalizations? That's on my to-do list as well.
That'd be super cool.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That'd be absolutely super cool. Go ahead, guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Tick-tock, tick-tock.
There's the crickets.
I didn't know if I lost you guys. No, that'd be awesome if you came up again, Abe. I'd be kind of interested to kind of explore that land back there a little bit myself. Just judging from when we stood on the embankment, and looking out, it was fairly open, but a lot of it's swamp grass, and, pretty soft of foot. So, for any of us, it'd be almost impassable for us. So.
Possibly, yep, definitely possibly. But however, there is a road that gets back there. There has to be a road to get back there.
Don't believe Abe and his roads.
Also...
Don't believe Abe and his roads as maps. I'm just saying. Just throwing that out there, FYI.
We'll get to you later, big guy. But there has to be a road because there's a resort not too far from where this sighting took place. So yeah, Joe. No. Oh man. So I mean, as far as that, that sighting that they've had, the life before, how it's all. You guys, you actually lost some sleep over this, haven't you, Alice?
I'm still losing sleep over it, Abe.
Are you really? Man.
Dad's still losing sleep over what happened to you last night you were up here. That scared me. So.
Yeah, and so not this last weekend, but the week before, Wednesday, Thursday, they were with me out in Remer, Minnesota, at a location that they wanted me to check out because this location they bait bear up there with, and they had the nylon, the biodegradable nylon cord that they use to hang the bait up and tie it with, came untied in a couple of locations, and this was one of the locations. So we did overnight investigation. I stayed from that location from Wednesday to Saturday morning, and they were with me overnight Wednesday, and they came back Thursday, and nothing happened Wednesday that I was, too certain, except for we had a shadow squatch that kind of startled us, which was awesome looking back in hindsight.
That scared the crap out of me.
Yeah. And so how this took place, we were doing a night hike on the road, and we're walking back towards base camp, and her husband had his hat light on, and we seen something from the left side of us zoom across the right side of the road and stops me dead in my tracks. I put my arm across her husband. He put his arm across her, and we were like, what the heck was that? And then I was like, oh, wait, it was a saddle. It was a saddle. And the way we were coming around this corner, the shadow zoomed from left to right and it startled all of us. And it was like, whoa. And so, yeah, we had a saddle squatch sighting, a road crossing, I guess you could say. That was
I was worried it was going to be that stop with her cubs.
Yeah, there was bear in the area too. We've seen the call march, we've seen the dropping. So that was Wednesday night, and then Thursday night they come back up. I'm out running around. I cooked a couple steaks to eat, and I was on to dessert, which was a couple of s'mores, and I was on my second s'more when all of a sudden, out of blue, mind you, I feel great all the way up until bam. It was like, whoa. I was like, oh, gosh. I had a pain in my chest, and then it happened again. And the second pain happened a little higher than the first pain did. I was like, what the heck? And I'm holding my chest. I'm feeling my pulse through my neck, and my heart's just going real fast. I'm getting a little disoriented, kind of uncomfortable. My hands were cold. My waist, my legs were shaking from the waist down. I was just kind of pacing back and forth, trying to gain composure. And during all this, Alice and her husband hear two different whoops, sounds of whooping coming from across the lake while I'm having my panic attack. And they were both in high pitch, but one was lower pitched than the other. From two different locations. Was that correct? That's what you guys heard. Is that right, Alice? I mean, that's what you guys told me.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And that's kind of like, we didn't know what was going on with you, and then Justin actually heard the first one, and I kind of thought I heard something, but wasn't sure. There's owls out there, bullfrogs, everything else. And then when I heard the second one, and so did he, and then I'm like, whoa, yeah, that was something. So.
Yeah. And me, I was too concerned about what was going on with my body at the time. And this is where I say I could have possibly been blasted with infrasound with those two whoops going across. Now, I can't say for sure, but was there a big male or a big female that was on our side, closer to us, that seen me as a threat or targeted me being the bigger male out of the group, and blasted me with infrasound? Now, this is all speculation. I can't say yea or nay about this. That's why I say, is it possible? Because I can't say for sure if this was the case or not, but I had all the symptoms. People who have had the effects of infrasound related to Bigfoot also say that they have been blasted when there has been a Bigfoot in the area as well. So that's exactly what happened to me. That's my story. That's my side of it. That's what these two have heard during, I guess you say, my episode of possibly being blasted with infrasound. After that, I thank you guys so much again. Alice actually took me to the emergency room to go get checked out. Now, me having open heart surgery in 2011, I had to play it safe and play it by the book and go get checked out, which I'm glad I did. The EKGs came back immaculate from what the doctor said. My vitals were great. My blood pressure was stable and everything like that, where there was no concern for them to keep me for observation or anything like that. Alice, thank you so much. Thank you to your husband, Justin, for driving my car to the emergency room. I didn't want to take the chance of if anything did progress and I was behind the wheel. You guys helped me out so much. I do got something for the both of you when I see you guys at Bigfoot Days in Remer, Minnesota. Thank you guys so much again.
No, absolutely. We were happy to do that, and we just and like you said, it was just playing safe, playing by the books, just to make sure everything was okay. We were concerned, so we weren't going to leave you out there by yourself. And, whenever you come up this way, you always have a place to stay, too. So.
Oh, a new base camp for research. Awesome.
Can't go wrong.
A lot of land out here.
Perfect spot to start.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I just want to say thank you, Alice, for coming on. And thank you, Justin, for unpacking while she's on the air. And
I enjoyed hearing y'all's account. This is great. I enjoyed hearing it.
Oh, man, Harry, it was definitely something. And we'll keep in contact with you, Alice. And thank you again so much, Alice and Justin. You guys, I'll let you go so you can finish unpacking. You guys have a great evening, and God bless the both of you.
God bless, Abe. You guys take care. Thanks for having us on.
Nice meeting both of you.
Thank you.
Yes.
We'll talk soon then.
Yep. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. So that was just Alice and Justin W. We had a great time up there. And so then that was Thursday night. Friday, this greenhorn rookie newbie to the Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team finds his way down to the Remer, Minnesota area.
Yeah, I did. I found my way there.
He was guided by Jack Link's Beef Jerky.
I was.
May the watch be with you. No.
Well, I was as afraid of it was going to be with me.
Joel Sturgis of After Hours AM, new member of the Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team, he comes down and he spends Friday night with me as well. We sit around the base camp and stuff like that. And, we're having a great time. I cook a small meal. He took me out to lunch. We had a light lunch. I call it a light lunch.
Well, yeah, you might.
would call it a 3-course meal.
Yeah. Steak and shrimp, But I was buying, and I did offer to buy, so I do not hold anything against you, Abe. And I'm glad to do it, by the way. I really am. But, we did make our way out there. It was a good time.
It was, and then after that, I show him around the great town of Remer, Minnesota. I'm introducing him to people, and so he got to meet the president of the Chamber of Commerce. His name is Scott. He runs the Rusty Bucket up there in Remer, Minnesota. Remer, Minnesota, Remer Motel owners Steve and Erica. I called in Marc Ruyak, who was our tonight's first hour of MNBRT radio. They had a chance to meet. And what a lot of people don't know is that we kind of got something up our sleeves.
We do.
For Bigfoot Bigfoot Days, don't we now, Joel?
We do. We do have a lot up our sleeves, and one of them is, well, I'm working on a live remote. So you guys that have had your accounts there, your real stories, come on radio with us. Tell iHeartRadio and the world all about your encounter of Bigfoot.
Yes. We want to hear about it. We want to know what's going on. And, if time permitting, I might even do an MN.B.R.T. radio show live from Remer, Minnesota Bigfoot Days as well.
That would be very cool. That would be crazy.
Probably be on Saturday the 8th. We're talking about hopefully grabbing a couple people, getting them on the air, share their encounters with us, what they've seen, what they've experienced, what they've smelled, what they've heard. Things like that. It's a possibility. I'm not 100% sure yet because I'm not sure how the Wi-Fi connection is going to be playing out. So we'll have to play that one by ear and cross that bridge when it comes to it. So after I'm showing Joel around town and, letting him bump elbows.
Wait. Back up, Abe. Not just show me around town. He's like Jesus to these people. It's like Jesus came back to Nazareth for a minute, okay? It was like mothers and children were coming out to greet him. It was kind of a little crazy, and I was in awe. Now, you have to understand, I've been in radio a long time. I've interviewed a lot of big stars, stuff like that. I've never seen more starstruck people in my life than when Abe Del Rio came to town. It was like Grandma even came out. She's like, "Don't go anywhere, Abe. Don't go anywhere. Let me talk to you." It was really a good time, and warm people, small town, big hearts, definitely. And it was quite the experience, Remer, Minnesota. And if you do have a chance to get there, you're going to love it, just like I did. And I plan to be going back many, many more times.
Oh, man. And so after that, after showing my new team over off to the town, introducing him, being really proud. Hey, this is who he is. He's a great guy. He's got his own show. He's my buddy. We give each other noogies and whatnot. We go back
and whatnot. Yes.
We go back to base camp. I cook up a small dinner of 2 porterhouse steaks.
Yes, and he ate both of them. He did offer, but man, be honest with you guys. Let me tell the audience something. I have spent the night alone in the Villisca house, the axe murder house in Iowa. I've spent the night alone at the Stanley Hotel. I have spent the night alone at a lot of haunted locations, right? I have never been so shaken up and rattled as I was sitting in that small tent waiting for Bigfoot to come maul me. That's the God's honest truth. I was hearing crap in those woods, man. It was, I'm like, oh crap, oh man, things are gonna get real. Because you can run from a ghost. You can run from a ghost. You can walk right through a ghost, but an 8-foot tall, pissed off monster. Good luck with that one.
I made a giant look like a dwarf.
Yeah, exactly. So there I am in my tent. Abe over there is snoring like he's cutting down lumber. I thought maybe someone's outside with a John's root cutting lumber down. And all of a sudden I hear this little, I hear things in the woods, right? Because my ears are just so totally peeled now. It's like, oh my God, okay, all right, everything's cool. And then again, the cameras go off. I'm like, oh, man. So I grab my Jack Links a little bit closer to me going, all right, Jack Links, this thing comes in here. I'm relying on you, just so you know. And it never came in, thank God. But it was a great time. It really was. And Abe, I cannot thank you enough for taking me under your wing. Because we've talked about Bigfoot on air for years now on my show, and I've always kind of thought, well, one day I'd like to get out there. One day I'd like to see what it's all about. One day I would like to experience this, and you have given me that opportunity. And it is a lot more involved than I even thought it was. I thought, all right, we're going to run around and maybe snap a few pictures, and that'll be it. There's a lot that goes into it, a lot more than people know, than most people understand. So kudos to you guys for how well you do and how much you put into it.
Well, thank you so much. And like I said, I heart this Bigfoot research and investigation thing a lot. And it's not just me. Henry shares the same passion that I have as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that share the same passion as well. And it takes a certain breed of doing that. So thank you. And you know what? We're going to have a lot more fun and a lot more outings in the future. But what I really like to touch base on right now is that when we were driving in your truck, and now when you almost lost your bumper.
Yeah. It's
when we came across that formation.
Yes, the formation first. Let's talk about that. We're cruising down a dirt road, and I can't remember the number of the said dirt road, and we're BSing back and forth, and Abe says, "Stop the car! Stop the truck!" So I did, of course. He jumps out like, it's Christmas. Runs out to the woods, and I'm thinking, oh man, what's going on? And he says, "Joel, get over here." So I did, and what caught his eye was a large X formation of two large logs. But then another really cool thing was there was I don't know how to describe it properly yet, but one day I will, guys. It was what I would consider looked a lot like a snare trap. It was a tree that had been arched over like a rainbow, being held down by some debris, deliberately done, mind you. There's nothing in nature that make that happen. That was so deliberate. Very, very cool find.
Yeah, and what we researchers and investigators call that is an arch formation, where it's being either the tip of the tree is dug down, is pinned by some debris on top of it, or the ends of the branches are woven into whatever's on the foliage floor, which was that case, to keep it from springing back up. It's some type of a marker as far as what it means. There's a lot more research that needs to go into that. But like you said, yes, there was a huge X formation that originally caught my eye, which I went up and investigated, and I had to, give that one up to Mother Nature. But in walking towards that X formation, this arch formation is what caught my eye, and I was like, "Oh wow, Joe, get over here!"
Yeah.
I mean, I was off in the woods like a white-tailed deer hopping up and down over these logs, and just moving so,
Well, let's just say it. You were giddy like a schoolgirl.
Oh, yeah, I was. I might even giggle like one on the way into the woods, too. But anyway, we'll keep that here on MNBRT.
Yeah, it stays between us. Don't worry. I won't tell anybody. But then we're cruising down this road, and I know where Abe wants to go on this one, so we're going to go there. Where are you, Abe? And there's a road on the GPS. He says, "Hey, there's a road to your left. Let's take it." Yeah, it was a road like the moon has roads, okay? It started off to be a road, but then it turned into, nothing. And, of course, Abe's going, "Come on, we can do this. We got this." And I got a normal four-wheel drive truck. Not jacked up, not great, not a mud truck. Just a normal GMC Sierra. That's it. Nothing. In fact, I plow with it, so I got the plow carriage in front of it, too. But anyhow, we're in the woods, and we get to this huge mud puddle. It's like, I'm not going to be able to make that. That thing is like 4 feet deep. So we decide to back up, which we backed up a couple different times. But this time we thought, I'm going to try, to whip this truck around in the middle of this very, very narrow pathway. That didn't work out so well. My front bumper paid the ultimate price. I did snag it on a tree, and it did pull off a portion of my front plastic part of the bumper. And I guess that you cannot be our Bigfoot researcher without your vehicle. I've come to know this from Abe now, because my very first outing with Abe, he got stuck in mud that was so deep that, it was unreal. I thought you'd never get that car out. And, but you gotta at least have one battle scar on the vehicle to prove, yes, I do take this to the woods. And yes, I do research Bigfoot in this vehicle.
Let's just say your initiation is over.
Yeah. I sure hope so.
Oh, man. So, at least, Joe got out there. He got his boots on the ground. He got to have a good taste of this. Like you mentioned, the first time I did get stuck in the pasture, kind of.
Kinda.
Stuck in a pasture. But, he got to see his first formation, which I thought was really cool, and so did he. which adds fuel to the fire, not just for me, but for the greenhorn as well. The rookie.
Yeah, the rook over here.
And like and so we're going to have a lot more adventures and a lot more fun out in the woods. And I got to say, Joe, thank you so much to After Hours AM, to you and your co-host, Eric, picking up MNBRT radio and getting us in with iHeartRadio.
Our pleasure.
iHeartRadio.
Truly our pleasure, guys. You guys do a bang-up job. And anytime you need me to co-host again, man, I'm always willing to do that. I had a blast tonight, and thanks a ton.
Awesome. We really enjoyed having you on, Joel. We really did.
Oh, I really appreciate that. I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot tonight, and you guys are two top-notch radio professionals, and it was really an honor to work with both of you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, the sentiments are mutual. With all of your decades of doing radio, I appreciate you coming on, and trust me when I say the pleasure's all mine.
Oh, can I just tell one quick story about a caller to the show, though? Just really quickly.
Yeah,
I know we're running out of time.
Go right ahead.
About 4 years ago, this lady from Arkansas calls into After Hours AM, and we were talking Bigfoot at the time. I think we had Dr. Meldrum on the time. And I don't screen my calls. Whatever comes in, comes in. All right, you know what? If they want to come and talk, they can talk. I'm not going to weed them out. Although I should have a screener. I just can't afford one, to be honest with you. iHeartRadio, you can always give me one. But anyhow, getting back to that, this lady calls in just like this. She says, to Dr. Meldrum and me, she says, I saw me a Bigfoot. Just like that. And I said, really, ma'am? What happened? I was in my trailer last night. I went in there, went into the kitchen, and there he was. I said, no, not in your house. He was. Wow, what was he doing? He was drinking milk out of the carton. Oh, but what was worse is he was wearing my bathrobe. And I said, Bigfoot, we use cups in this house. And this lady was so serious that there was a Bigfoot in her kitchen at 3 a.m. drinking milk out of the carton wearing her bathrobe. And it's all right, you win. You win, lady. You got me there, all right. We all laughed, and she went into detail, and how Bigfoot got whatever. Laughed, stormed out of the house, just totally frustrated, couldn't drink milk out of the carton anymore. And she says she waved a broom at him. Don't you come back here till you can use cops. And then that was it. And then she said that was it.
Joe, you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of Granny from the Beverly Hills.
It really, she sounded just like her. She sounded just like her. I mean, my God, I couldn't make this stuff up. And then when she added the bathrobe, that was priceless. It was, and then yelling at him, we use cups here, Bigfoot.
Yeah, Granny's been in the moonshine again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's been nipping Grandpa's crop syrup there a little too much.
Oh, Joe, it's been fun having you on, my brother.
Hey, thank you, man.
Again so much.
Thanks a ton for having me, and you guys squatch on, man. To steal it from you, squatch on, you two.
Too. Yes, sir.
Squatch on, Joe. Oh, have yourself a good night. Thank you again, brother. Bye-bye. Henry, thank you. We are on iHeartRadio. Yeah. And, of course, Henry and I, from the bottom of our hearts, again, we give all thanks and praise to the Lord Almighty, and we want to thank our families and our friends and all of our listeners who have stuck with us throughout the years. With that being said, from Henry and I, signing off saying, God bless, good night, and squatch on!
MNBRT Radio thanks you for tuning in and making us a part of your home. Be sure to tune in next week at the same time for another great show. Be sure to check out MNBRT Radio on Facebook and like the page to keep up with the show and to leave any questions or comments. The truth is out there waiting to be discovered.